Hello all, my name is Rahman and welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to another machine learning project video. So in this video we are going to write such a code which will capture our images while we are smiling. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all guys, as usual I am going to use here the Visual Studio Code IDE. So in this IDE I have created a folder called the smile selfie. Okay, now here in this folder, I have the total four files. So the first one we have is a beep dot wave file. Now what we are actually going to do is we are going to detect our face when we are smiling. It's going to detect our face. Then when we are smiling, it's going to detect our lips. Okay, and then it's going to capture an image. And when it's capturing then there will be a sound. Okay, so here I have a sound as you can listen. So whenever it captures an image, there will be a sound. After that, I have a file, MP4 file. So this is a file which I downloaded from the internet. So you can also use your live image. So here I have this one. You can see. Okay. So you can use this or you can also use your live image, live video. Now here I have the hair cascade frontal face. So here we have the data. So now let's create a file, Python file, where we are going to write here the code. So I'm going to type smile.py. Now in this folder, guys, we need the libraries that we are going to use. The first one that we are using is going to be the OpenCV, which is used for capturing the videos, images, etc. After that, we are going to use here the date time. So why we are using this test, because like when we capture the image name should be saved with the date and time, and we are going to use something called as the win sound, which is used like when it's capturing the image when we smile. So it's going to give us a sound, right? So for that we are going to give the win sound. So we are going to, let's import this. Before importing, let's install this on our computer. So I'm going to type install the OpenCV-Python. So I already have these three libraries for. So for just showing all of you, I'm going to type here. Then the pip install the date time. Then yeah, we have also this. After that, I'm going to install the win sound. Okay. So here it downloaded win sound. Okay. So anyhow, so now let's import this. So I'm going to import here the CV2. Then I'm going to import the date time. So date time. Then I'm going to import the winds wind sound. Okay. Now we have this. Now I'm going to create here a variable where we are going to store our video that we are using live, or I'm going to, or whatever the file that we have given. So I'm going to give the capture is equal to cv2 dot video capture, and here I'm going to give it the zero. And the reason that I have given here the zero is, now here instead of 0 we can use the 1, because if you have the webcam or any other camera with the laptop, then you can use the 1. If you have the laptop camera, then you can use the 0. Now if you want to use any other video instead of this, you can give something called as the video.mp4. Okay, now whatever the video name is you can give here. So I'm going to give the 0 right now. After that I'm going to give here smile, or instead of this cascade, I'm going to give you something called as the cv2 dot cascade classifier, hair cascade, like hair cascade smile, right? So for this I'm going to give the smile. Okay, and yeah, at the end, yeah, below this, sorry, now below this I'm going to give here the face. This is going to be a variable, right? So I'm going to use here the hair cascade file that we have already downloaded. So I downloaded these two files from the internet. You can also find there, or otherwise the link will be given in the description below, so you can download this from there. So anyhow, we have this. After that we are going to use here the while loop, right? So I'm going to use the while true. After that I'm going to give the underscore. frame underscore frame. So this is going to be the capture dot read, so it's going to read the file, the video that we have, that we are storing in this variable. Okay, now I'm going to give original, which is, sorry, I have to give here the original frame. Okay, now it's going to be, we are going to create a copy of this frame, right? Just because we are going to change it to the gray color, etc. So here I'm going to then give here the gray, which is equal to the cv2 dot pt color. Yeah, cv2 dot cvt color. Then I'm going to use here the frame that I have given, and then yeah, I'm going to call this frame, then the color bgr2 gray. Okay, so we are using here the gray color. After that, I'm going to create something called as the face a library. After that, I'm going to give the face cascade library, the variable that I have already created, right? So I'm going to give face cascade dot, we are going to give here the detect multi-scale. So we are calling this variable, actually we are using this data set. So we have given the gray 1.3, something like this. After that, we are going to use here the for loops, right? So we will be using here the two for loops. So the first one is going to be x, y, wh, width and height, and the length, right? So I'm going to give for, what we say, x, y, w comma h, right? So we are going to give this in a face. Now we have created something called as face. In, we have created a variable, right? So we are calling this, actually we are calling this higher cascade file, then we are saying detect dot multiscale. Okay, now anyhow, after that I'm going to give here the cv2. So we are going to detect our faces, right? So I'm going to give detect frame, then we have given the x, then x plus y, the y w, then we have given y plus h. So here we have given here the colors, so we can change the color if you want. Now this is the thickness, like how much thickness you want, something like that. But here right now I have just given here the two. If you want, you can change it later on. So anyhow, after that I'm going to give face, and I'm going to give the roi, which is going to be, so here first of all we are going to use it the gray. Before that I'm going to call the frame that we have used here, right? The frame, yeah, here we created a variable. So in this frame we have the vibe, the one that we are saying like the, so if for example in a rectangle you may have seen that like height, width and the length, right? So that's what we are saying here. Now after that I'm going to give the gray roi. So these are going to be the variables, then the gray y plus h, x plus w. So these both of them are going to be the same, no difference. Okay, now smile cascade, sorry, I'm going to create here not the cascade, the variable that I have already created like the face, right? So I'm going to give the smile, which is equal to smile, smile cascade detect multi-scale, and then we are going to give here the 25, right? So this is going to work. But here I'm going to use here the another for loop that we, so here we have used the x y. Now we need another one, right? Now this is because this is just for the face, it's going to detect our face. But the what we say, the another for loop that we are creating is because when we smile it's going to detect our lips, right? So that's why I'm going to give the for x1 sorry, for x1. So the reason that I'm giving this under this for loop in this intent here is because we are using here in our face, right? So anyhow, let's remove this again. So below the smile I'm going to give for x1 y1 w1 and h1 in smile. So the smile here is the variable. Okay, so anyhow we are going to create here a rectangle again. So I'm going to give here, so now right now we don't need this, but let's keep it because at the end we are going to use. Now here we are using the cv2 rectangle that we are going to what we say, the detect our lips. After that we are using the face roi. So after that in the x1 the same thing that we have used above, but there is little bit difference that you can see here. Okay, so anyhow, now one more thing that we have to do here is when we save the file, when the computer saves the file of the smiling face, what it should do is it's going to what we it should name the file of the time, right? So I'm going to give here the time. So I'm going to give it the timestamp date dot date time str time. Then I have given here the year first, then month, then day, then hour, then minute, then seconds. I think seconds is not needed, so I removed them. But yeah, if we need it, we can give it later on. Okay, so I'm going to give here the file name which is equal to the f smile timestamp. Now what happens is the file name that we are going to give is like smile. uh, so it's going to be a word, right? After that we are saying the timestamp that we have created here, right? Now we are going to save this as a png. Now I want to remove this right now. I'm going to give this later on. So then I'm going to type the cv2 dot the im, right? Then the file name, then the original frame that we have created. So here we have given, so here is why we are using our frame dot copy. Okay, now here I'm going to give, when a selfie is taken, when a selfie is taken, I want to play like selfie taken, something like that. So I'm going to give, sorry, in the bracket I'm going to give the selfie taken, right? Now below this, I'm going to use here the wind sound. Now here what we want is when the image is taken, we are saying that we should play the sound that we have that I downloaded here, right? So this tip kind of sound is going to play. Now here our code is ended. Now we have to show here the image. So for that I'm going to use here something called as the cv2 dot I am show and the selfie taker, something like that. Sorry, yeah, selfie taker, or we can give smile selfie taker. Now this is going to be the heading of the window. Like as you can see for the Visual Studio Code, I'm getting the smile selfie. Then I have the file edit like that. Also for the window that is capturing our face, so there I'm going to give smile selfie taker. Okay. Now beside this, I'm going to use here something called as the frame. Okay. Now here, yeah, instead of this I have given you something called, I have to give you this beep, right? So because it's a wave file, so the smile file is different. Okay, by the way, I'm going to use here the if statement. Like when you press the q, then the capturer is going to be ended. So I'm going to give cv2 dot wait key. So we are going to give here the 10, and at the end I'm going to give here the order order, and here I'm going to give it the q because when we press the key, it's going to be ended. Now this worked. After this I'm going to give it the cap release. Then I'm going to use it the cap cv2 dot destroy all windows. Now cap release is what is, it's a variable. Now it's going to release it, it's going to end here. After that it's going to destroy all of the windows when we press this. Okay, so that's all this code is. Now let's test our code here, right? So here we have a video. So this video is pretty much big. I think this is not going to be saved, stored in the what we say, the window, right? So let's still play it. Let's see how much time it's going to take. Yeah, it's showing my, okay, my face. So I have to give here the smile.mp4. Yeah. So now let's run it. So it's a pretty much a big file. So basically it's detecting, but after some time, as you can see, it's detecting in the blue. Now here also there will be some kind of, so as you just listen the voice tape kind of stuff, you just listen the voice, right? So anyhow guys, that's all for this video, and I hope you liked and enjoyed watching this video. So don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I will see you all in another tutorial. Thanks for watching and goodbye.